Hello dear friends, hello dear viewers, welcome back once more to the GCE Panel online, where you can get this information from www.gcepanel.org. Just go to www.gcepanel.org and click on GCE Preps, select a level, under a level take statistics, and you can find this paper. So we are looking at the solutions of June 2024 GCE Advanced Level Pure Maths with Statistics Paper 1. We start with question 1. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Okay, the first question reads, given that given two functions f and g are such that f of x equals x squared minus 1 and g of x equals 2x plus 1, find g of f of 2. Find g of f of 2. So let's see which one is correct. So for g of f of 2, we can start by looking for the composite function g of f of 2 of f of x, and that is going to be equal to 2 into x squared minus 1 plus 1. Okay, and when we substitute the value of x there, what are we going to have? Let's see. Let's check. The first one is not correct. The second is correct. So the answer is 7, or the key is 7. So let's see the working. So first of all, we can look for f of 2. And what will be f of 2? F of 2 will be equal to 2 squared minus 1, which is 3. Okay. Now we can now compute g of f of 2. And g of f of 2 will be equal to 2 into 3 plus 1, which is 7. So this is the explanation. Question 2. Log y base x equals 2 and xy equals 125. Then the values of x and y are respectively. So with this question, we can start by converting from logarithmic form to exponential form. And at this point here, we will have x to the power 2 to be equal to y. So x squared equals y. And from here, we know that xy equals 125. So we can replace this y here by x squared, right? So x times x squared is x cubed equals 125. And from there, x will be equal to 5. If x equals 5 and y is x squared, then y will be equal to 25. Okay? So here is the working. The correct answer is C. Sorry. Correct one is C. Okay? So y is equal to x squared. I will substitute this x squared in the second. We are going to have x into x squared equals 125. From here, x is 5 and y will be equal to 25. Question 3. The vertical asymptote of the curve y equals 1 over x minus 2 into x plus 3r. So how do we get the vertical asymptotes? This is especially for rational functions like this one, where the variables in the denominator will make the function undefined. So what are the value of x for which this function will be undefined? We have when x equals 2 and when x equals negative 3. So those are the vertical asymptotes, when x equals 2 and when x equals negative 3. So our key is B. Okay, so we can just equate the denominator to 0, solve for x, and exclude these values from the domain of definition. Okay, so those values are known as the vertical asymptotes, x equals 2 and x equals negative 3. Please don't forget to subscribe and share this video. We see a lot of views, but no subscription and no share. If you don't share and you don't subscribe, don't comment, you are not doing us any good. Take note, you are not doing us any good. Okay, the fourth question reads, p of x equals ax cubed plus 5x squared plus 2x minus 8 is divided by x minus 1 and the remainder is negative 3. What is the value of a? So we are first of all going to equate x minus 1 to 0. We'll solve for x, we'll have x equals 1. And therefore, p of 1 will give us this remainder, which is negative 3. So therefore, when we substitute 1 here, we are going to have a times 1, which is a, plus 5 into x squared That's 5 times 1, which is 5 plus 2. So you just have a plus 5 plus 2 minus 8 to be equal to negative 3. Okay, and when we solve a, what do we have? All right, let's look for the key. So the answer is x equals negative, a equals negative 2. So x equals x minus 1 equals 0 implies x equals 1. To get the remainder, we know that p of 1 equals negative 3. So this implies a into 1 plus 5 into 1 plus 2 into 1 minus 8 equals negative 3. And from here, a equals negative 2. A is negative 2. Question 5. The set of values of x for which this expression is less than 0 is... So for this expression, since it's multiple choice and we don't have enough time, for us to go faster, we can just consider just the denominator. Why? Because the numerator is always positive. The numerator is always positive because x plus 1 all squared plus 3 is always a positive number. Let's consider the denominator to see how we can get the solution. So from here, the boundary solutions when you equate the denominator to 0 are x equals negative 3 and x equals plus 2. Those are the boundary solutions. So we are going to test the region below negative 3, between negative 3 and 2, and above 2. So note, if x equals 3, this function will be undefined. I'm sorry, if x equals negative 3, like this case we have here for b, we are going to have 0. This will be undefined. So we cannot take anything that has the equality sign. If x also equals 2, it will also be undefined. So from here, automatically, b and c are eliminated. So we are now checking just a and d. So let's see. If we use, let's use 0 to test. 0 is between negative 3 and plus 2. If you use 0 to test, we are going to have a negative value. Yep. So the region is between negative 3 and 2. So this is it. You can use the table and whatever to test. So you can check directly by testing the regions and you'll see that the key is D. Okay. You can also use the numbers negative 3 and 2 to test. Okay. Numbers between or outside to get the correct region. Alternatively, you can use this table. And using this table, you see that the region is the region negative 3 less than x less than 2. So that's the correct region. So that's what we have for the correct region for this question. That was question 5. The key is D. Question 6. A function f defined in the set of real numbers is defined by f of x equals 4k plus 4x for x less than or equal to 1. And f of x equals 4x minus kx squared minus 4x greater than 1. So if x has a limit at x equals 1 or x is continuous or f is continuous at x equals 1, what's the value of k? So if it is continuous at the point x equals 1, it means that for this first part when x equals 1 and for this second part when x equals 1, when we equate the two values, we're going to have the value of k. Okay, so here if it has a limit at x equals 1, then let's see what we're going to do. So let's check. So for this first one, we're going to have 4k plus 4 to be equal to 4 minus k squared minus 4. So that will give us 4k plus 4 to be equal to negative k squared, and we can solve that quadratic. Okay, so our key is negative 2. So equating limits from both sides at x equals 1, we get, so at x equals 1, we get for the upper part, we have 4k plus 4 into 1. That is going to give, it will be equal to the limit to the other part, 4 into 1 minus k squared minus 4. This will give us a quadratic 4k plus 4 is equal to negative k squared, right? When we solve this, we are going to have repeated roots, k equals negative 2 or k equals negative 2. So the value of k is just negative 2. Question 7. Let P and Q be statements. Let P and Q be statements. And this is the table representing those two statements. This is P and Q. When P is true and Q is true, this statement is true. When P is true and Q is false, it is still true. When P is false and Q is true, it is true. When both are now false, it is false. So what our statement is this? This is very clear, right? So this is the OR statement. It's only false when both are false. So this is the OR statement. Okay. So this truth table, the OR statement is false only when both statements are false. So a key here is C. Question 8. So in question 8, we are given the lines L1, L2, L3, and L4. Which pair of these lines are parallel? When you have this type of questions, please don't waste time to be checking whatever, okay? Now let's just consider only the direction vectors. For us to know if the lines are parallel, we consider just the direction vectors to see if they're the same or one is a scalar multiple of the other. Okay, so let's look at them. We see that if you look at line 1 and line 2, you will see that line 2 is 2 times line 1. That's 4i times 2 is 8. 2j's times 2 is 4j's. So from here we can see that line 1 and line 2 are parallel. So 2 pairs of lines are parallel if they have the same direction vectors, or if their direction vectors are such that one is a scalar multiple of the other. So we have the lines 1 and 2. That's line 1 and line 2. Like I said again, to compare the direction vectors, we find the parallel ones and so on, and at the end you see that line 1 and line 2 are parallel. You can go to this site and you follow this link and you're going to see it, okay? So if you want to get to this page, you just need to go to www.gcepanel.org. That's our adjustments now for our domain name extension. Okay, so you go to the GCE panel. So I'm at the GCE panel here. When you are there, you go to menu. If you're on phone, it's going to show as 3 bars on the left side, but if you're on computer, it's going to show like this, my own here. So this GCE panel, you go to start. GCE panel preps, go to A level. Note that we don't have all the materials there now, we just have some few. So go to math statistics, and under math statistics, go to the menu now under math statistics. You click on revise paper 1. For now we have 2024 revise paper 1, and it brings us to that page. So this is the page where it brings us to. So let's continue with that question that we had. That should be question 8. Okay, we just need question 8, question 9. Question 9. So question 9 reads, a relation R defined on a non-empty set S is a partial order if... What's a partial order relation? A partial order relation is a relation that is reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive. A partial order relation is a relation that is reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive. And note, antisymmetric does not mean that it is not symmetric. So ask me why they're putting anti there. Anyway, they are not putting anti, they put anti there because they cannot put uncle. I'm sorry. Alright, question 10, please. That was just for fun, don't mind me. Question 10. So with question 10, we have this series, and they want us to find the value of m. How do we get the value of m? Let's analyze this series and see something. For this series, you see that we are starting from r equals 1 to infinity. So this is an infinite sum. Can you see the summation sign? This is an infinite sum. So this is the sum to infinity that we are looking for. And how do you get the sum to infinity? The sum to infinity is given by the first time of our 1 minus the common ratio, if r is less than 1. If r is greater than 1, then the formula is a bit different. However, note that if r is greater than 1, then the sum to infinity will be infinity. Okay? To be infinity. So from here, if r equals 1, how do we get the first term? If r equals 1, we are going to have m over 2 to the power 1 minus 1. 2 to the power 0 is 1. So the first term here is m. Okay? Now to get the second term, we use 2. M over 2 to the power 2 minus 1, that's m over 2. So the second term is m over 2. Now, second term divided by first term gives us a half. So our common ratio is a half. Therefore, our sum to infinity is equal to m over 1 minus a half. Okay? And this m over 1 minus a half gives us 10. So what's the value of m? So let's see. The key is not A. It is B, so m is 5. Okay, so from here you have m over 1 minus a half giving us 10. So m 1 minus a half is a half, so m on a half is giving us 10. Therefore m equals 5. So that's how we find the value of m. M is equal to 5. The next question, question 11. So the first order differential equation obtained from the function y equals ax plus ln x is. So to get the first order differential equation, we'll start by differentiating. So when differentiate, we're going to have dy dx. Dy dx is equal to a plus, when differentiating x, what do you have? When you differentiate in x, you have 1 over x, right? Alright, so let's check. The key here is this last one, and let's see how we get it. So you have dy dx equals a over plus 1 over x. Now we are going to multiply both sides by x, so that we are going to have x dy dx equals ax plus 1. But from the given question, we know what ax is, right? You know that ax is equal to y minus ln x. If we make x the subject of the formula, we'll have ax to be equal to y minus ln x. So we substitute this here. So but our ax is equal to y minus ln x. Okay? So that gives us y minus ln x. So therefore, this is what we have as the key. That brings us to question 12. The shaded region represents, so for question 12, the shaded region represents, so this represents B only, right? Or we can say it represents A prime intersection B. That's A complement intersection B. That's C. This one is very clear. Represents A complement intersection B. You can leave your comments as you watch the video. Or you can also say that it represents outside A intersection B. So that's it. The key is C. Question 13. A function f on the set of real numbers is defined by this. What's the domain of this function? To get the domain, just equate the denominator to 0, solve for x, and exclude the values from the set of real numbers, because this thing is defined as a set of real numbers. Okay, so we exclude that from the set of real numbers. So let's see how we do this. So with this, check out the key. It's not A, it's B. Okay, so when we equate the denominator to 0 and solve, you're going to have x equals negative 3 and x equals 5. So we're going to exclude this negative 3 and 5 from the set of real numbers. So this is the domain of this function.
You can't sit and drink your tea now. Why are you making noise?
Question 14. A curve is defined parametrically by x equals 2t and y equals 2 on t. The Cartesian equation of the curve is... So for the Cartesian equation of the curve, we are going to make maybe x the subject of the formula, or make t the subject of the formula and substitute in the other one, okay? So from here we see that x on 2 is t. And from here t equals x on 2 can be substituted into y equals 2 on t, right? So y will be equal to 2 over t, but our t is x on 2. So when we divide that, we are going to have xy equals 4. Okay, that's A. So from x equals 2t, we make t the subject of the formula. T will be equal to x on 2. We now substitute t equals x on 2 into y. This will give us y equals 2 on x on 2. So this will be equal to y equals 4 on x. And multiply both sides by x, we have xy equals 4. Question 15. If the vector r equals this and s equals that, then what is r cross x? This is just cross product now. Yeah, I know everybody can trash this one. This is cross product. Let's check out the key. So C. So the cross products of the vectors, know that for the cross product, start with R first before S. It's going to give us the vector negative 4i minus 5j plus 7k. Question 16. Given that f of theta equals sine theta minus root 3 cos theta, expressing f of theta in the form r sine theta minus alpha, where r is greater than 0 and alpha is an acute angle, you obtain f of theta equals. So just from here, we can get the value of r. The coefficient of sine theta here is 1. The coefficient of cos theta is root 3. Sorry, negative root 3. So negative root 3 squared plus 1 squared is 4. The square root of 4 is 2. So from here, we already see that the answer is either A or C. So B is not possible. As you can see, B is wrong, D is wrong. Okay. So now we just need the angle theta. So from here, we can get this angle directly. Yeah, from here, you can already see that the angle is going to be some sort of root 3, right? Going to some sort of tan theta equals root 3. And of course, you already know what that angle is going to look like. That should be 60 degrees pi on 3. Yeah. As you solve these things continuously, you see how we get these answers. So, but if you have enough time, you can do this expansion that they usually do in paper 2 to solve. And you see that the value of alpha is pi on 3. To get to this paper, please just follow this procedure that I showed you earlier in this video. And you can get to this paper. Or if you don't mind, I can still show you again before we continue question 17. So for this, just go to the gcepanel.org website. We have adjusted our domain name. So go to www.gcepanel.org. When you are there, whether you're on phone or computer, you go to GCE Preps. When you click on menu, go to Start GCE, go to A level. Under A level, go to Pure Math Statistics. And now this page is going to open. When you are here now, go to Revise Past GCE Paper 1. You see 2024 Paper 1 there. You click it, and that brings you to where we are right now. So we are at question 16, right? So we continue with question 17. So if f of x equals x squared plus kx minus 3 is a root of, okay, sorry, has a root in the interval 1, 2, then the range of k is, yeah, many students had the problem with this question. So here, if there is a root in the interval 1, 2, then we can use the intermediate theorem, okay, to find this root. Not a root exists if f of a times f of b is less than 0. So we are going to get f of 1 times f of 2 here, and that should be less than 0, and then we're going to get the value of k. Okay, so here let's just check and see which one is the key. Okay, k lies between negative a half and 2. Okay, so from here, using the intermediate value property, we have k minus 2 into 2k plus 1 is less than 0. And the boundary solutions are negative a half and plus 2. So from here now we can test, and the key is that the key is going to be C. Question 18. Given that the sum and difference of the roots of the equation 2x squared minus 2x plus q equals 0 are equal, the value of q is, so the sum and difference are equal. Means that something is going to be equal to 0 now. So here the solution was actually not there, so I added this known here, okay? But in the exam, you can always just choose one of those things. They just choose anything when you see the solution is not there, but you have to be careful. Make sure that it is not there first. So from here, the sum of roots is going to be equal to, first of all, expressing this in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. X squared minus sum of roots plus product equals 0. Okay? So minus sum of products minus sum of roots. So the sum of roots here is 1. So a plus b is equal to 1 if the roots are a and b. And then now we have been told that the sum of roots is 1 and the difference of the roots also is equal to what? Is equal to 1, right? Because it said the sum and difference of the roots of the equation are equal. So the difference of roots, that's a minus b, is going to be equal to 1. It means that automatically b is equal to 0 just from those statements. And b is equal to 0 and then a is equal to 1. So if a is equal to 1, so now how do we get the value of Q? From instead 1, 2 times 1 minus 2 times 1 is 0 plus Q equals 0. So from here Q equals to 0. Okay. Question 19. The sum of the first n terms of an AP is n into 2n plus 3. The nth term of the AP is alright, I think this question okay, let me check this out. Okay, it's 2n plus 3. N into 2n plus 3. Okay, let's see how we can solve this one. So the first term is the sum of the first term is the same as the first term. What's this now? Sum of the first n terms of an AP is that. So the first term is the same as the sum of the first one term, which is equal to 5. Okay. Now the second term is going to be given by the sum of the first two terms minus the first term. Call it T2, so it's S2 minus S1. That's going to give us 9. The third term is the sum of the first three terms minus sum of the first two terms. That gives us 13. So from here, I said the first term is 5, the second is 9, the next one is 13, and so on. So the common difference here is positive 4. The first term is 5, the difference is positive 4. So this is going to give us nth term is going to be given by a plus n minus 1d, where our a is 5 plus 4 into n minus 1d, or simply going to have 4n plus 1. So our key here is D. Question 20. So what's the value of this? You don't really need to solve this one because just by looking at it, you'll see that absolutely the absolute value of the numerator is 5 times the absolute value of the denominator. Can you see that? So this one, if you factor out the 5 in the numerator, you're going to have negative 1 plus 2i. Negative 1 plus 2i, the absolute value is the same as 1 plus 2i. So that's just going to give us 5. So the key here is 5. You need to solve more. So you start the absolute value of negative 5 plus 10i is the same as 5 into the absolute value of negative 1 plus 2i. And the absolute value of, or the modulus of 1 plus 2i is equal to the modulus of, or magnitude of negative 1 plus 2i. So the result is 5. Question 21. The lines L has equation that, and the plane pi has that equation. The sine of the acute angle between the line and the plane is, yeah, so the answer to this one, I think it was typo, so the answer was actually not there. Okay, so how do we get the line, the sine of the angle between the line and a plane? What you just need is the direction vector of the line. Here is 1 plus 3j plus 2k, and the normal to the plane. The normal to the plane here is 2i plus 2j minus k. You can see it, this 2x plus 2y minus z. Okay, here we can obtain the normal to the plane, which is 2i plus 2j minus k. So that's the normal. So how do we get the angle, the sine of the angle between these two? So this is going to be given by the sine of that angle is going to be equal to sine theta equals the absolute value of a cross b, the modulus of a cross b, all that on the modulus or the magnitude of mag a times mag b. So a cross b is going to give us negative 7i. A cross b gives us negative 7i plus 5j minus 4k. Okay, and From there, we can equally get the modulus, right? Can get the modulus of a cross b, which is going to give us a 3 root 10. The modulus of a is 3, the modulus of b is root 14. When you simplify, you're going to have root 10 on root 14, which is not found here. I think it was some sort of typo. Question 22. So the derivative here is, bring down the power 4. You differentiate the core 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. Times the core to the power 4 minus 1. So we just have 12 into 3x plus 2 to the power 3. So our key is C. Our key is C. Question 23. Find the equation of the circle passing through the points, the origin and the points 2, 0 and 0, negative 4. To find this equation, you're going to get the general form of the equation of a circle, and then, or the Cartesian form, and you use all those 3 different points. Since it passes through the origin, it means that our constant c is going to be equal to 0. So let's see which of them, which of these ones is the key. Okay, key is A. So from here, you have the form x squared plus y squared plus ax plus by plus c equals 0. When you pass it through the origin, the value of c here will be 0. Okay. When you pass it through the point 2, 0, you're going to have a equals negative 2. And when you pass it through the point 0, negative 4, we're going to have b equals 4. So the general form of the equation of this circle is x squared plus y squared minus 2x plus 4y equals 0. The key is A. Question 24. The area of the finite region bounded by the curve y equals 2x minus 1 on x and the lines x equals 1 and x equals 3 is. So this is just going to be the integral of y dx from x equals 1 to x equals 3, right? So when you do that integration, what are we going to have? So the area will be equal to the integral from 1 to 3 of 2x minus 1 over x dx, and that's going to give us 8 minus ln 3. 8 minus ln 3. Question 25. If a root of the equation x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 0 is also a root of the equation x cubed minus 2x squared plus 6x plus k equals 0, then the value of the constant k is. A lot of students too had a problem with this question in which they were struggling to equate the two equations, and they end up stressing themselves and killing themselves, solving and almost dying. The shortest way to answer this question is to find that root that is common. What is the root of this one? Consider this is a perfect square, right? So the root of this equation, what is it? It's negative 1. Okay? So it has the double root or repeated root, which is negative 1. And that's the only root that's also a root of this other equation. So now that you know that the root is negative 1, just substitute it here. You're going to have negative 1 cubed minus 2 into negative 1 squared plus 6 into negative 1 plus k equals 0. And you easily find k. Okay? So let's see where the k is. Okay, it's showing that k is 9. So for x squared plus 2x plus 1, the equation is can be written as x plus 1 all squared equals 0. And it has a single root or repeated root of x equals negative 1. Now substitute this in this polynomial with this polynomial, and you start the value of k is going to be equal to 9. Okay, so we have come to half of the equations, the middle, and you already know how to get here. Please, as you watch our videos, make sure you share it to your WhatsApp groups in school, propose it to other friends to watch as well. If you're watching the videos and you don't subscribe to the channel, it's just a waste for us, because we don't know if what we are doing is interesting to you or it's rubbish, you don't know. It's like you're just wasting our time. You don't even watch. I don't know. You really have to be able to subscribe and other things, otherwise you might not be able to see the paper 2 and paper 3 corrections that you're going to do. So it's good to subscribe so that we know where we are heading to. Either we don't go ahead because maybe what we're doing is not important or what. You have to subscribe. Leave your comments. Leave your comments. I like those who comment sometimes that this answer is not correct, that they have to do adjustments. Say that's good. Means that these are people who are following up. You share the videos, so you leave your comments, you share the videos, you subscribe, and much more of that. Okay? Thank you so much. We know you're going to do that. So we have this periodic function with a period of 4 defined as sin. So how do you get f of 9? Yeah, because that 9 is already outside this range. So we can actually get f of 9 by repeatedly subtracting the period until we have a number that is in this range from 0 to 4. So f of 9 will be the same as f of 9 minus 4, f of 5, right? But 5 is still outside this range. So we subtract 4 again. 5 minus 4 is 1, so it's going to be the same as f of 1. So this 1 now is 1 in this first part of this periodic function, the second part. This first part, right, from 0 to 2. So f of 1 will just be equal to 1 squared. And what does that give us? F of 1 is 1. Question 27. Two functions f and g and such that f of x equals 2x minus 1 and g of x equals, f of g of x equals x minus 2. So what is g of x? So here we obtain f of g of x by substituting the function g in f. Therefore means that this f of g of x is the same as, which is equal to x minus 2, is the same as f of g of x, which is also equal to 2g of x minus 1. So from here, 2g of x minus 1 should be equal to x minus 2. Because f of g of x means we substitute the function g in f. And if we do that, we're going to have 2g of x minus 1. That's f of g of x. But the result you're going to have is x minus 2. So 2g of x minus 1 equals x minus 2. And we solve for g of x. And we see what we're going to get. Alright, so the key is B. So f of g of x equals x minus 2, as we see here. And f of g of x also is also 2 into g of x minus 2 times g of x minus 1. Okay. Since all of them are f of g of x, we can equate the 2. That will give us 2g of x minus 1 equals x minus 2. And g of x equals x minus 1, all that on 2. Our key here is B. Question 28. Find the equation of the tangent to the curve y equals 3x into 2 minus x squared at the point 1, 3. So the equation of the tangent, we just need to get the gradient at that point and we form the equation. So at this point, dy dx will be equal to, so this is just 6x minus 3x cubed. And let's see what you're going to get for dy dx. So our key here is B actually. So y prime will be equal to 6 minus 9x squared, and at x equals 1, y prime of 1 will be equal to negative 3. That's the gradient. So this equation passes through the point 1, 3, right? So we're going to have y equals m into x minus x1 plus y1. That's the equation of the line. Where our x1 is this is 1 and y1 is 3. And when we simplify, we're going to have 3x plus y minus 6 equals 0. Okay? And which is B here, the key. Question 29. Simplifying sine 5x minus sine x all over sine 4x minus sine 2x gives. So we need the properties of all these angles. And let's see how we're going to do that. So sine 5x minus sine x. Sine 5x minus sine x, this has 2 cos 3x sine 2x. Okay? So it's now as 2 cos this value plus this value. That is 5x plus 1x divided by 2, 3. Sine 5x minus 1x is 4x divided by 2, 2. So it's 2 cos 3x sine 2x. For the denominator, sine 4x minus sine 2x, that's going to be equal to 4x plus 2x, that's 6x, right? So we're going to have 2 cos 6x on 2. Okay, I think 3 is missing here. Yeah, 3 is missing here. And sine as 4x minus 2x is 2x divided by 2 sine x. So 3 is missing just here. So now divide. We have 2 cos 3x times. Now sine 2x is the same as 2 sine x cos x, right? So we have 2 cos 3x times 2 sine x cos x. Also on 2 cos 3x. This one I said the 3 was missing here, so make that's omission. 2 cos 3x sine x. So this one is going to cancel out with this one, and sine x cancel out with sine x. We just left just with 2 cos x. we will be left with just 2 cos x, which is a. Our key is a. 30. The number of arrangements of the letters of the word arrears is. So for these arrangements, we see that A appears 2 times, R appears 3 times, E once, S once, okay? And there are 7 letters. So the total arrangement will be 7 factorial on 2 factorial, 3 factorial, 1 factorial, 1 factorial, which is 420. Am I too fast? Yeah, you can always reduce the speed using your YouTube settings, okay? Question 31. In the expansion 3 plus x, that's the root of 3 plus x, the range of values of x for which the complete expansion is valid is. So we can always check this out. So first of all, our key there is b. So root 3 plus x can be written in standard the standard way as 3 plus x, all that's the power a half. Okay, and we can rewrite it in the form a plus bx to the power n. By factoring out this one, you take the square root of 3 out, or divide all through by 3. We factor that out, we are going to have root 3 into 1 plus x on 3. Let me open out a bit. So we'll have root 3 into 1 plus x on 3, all that to the power a half. So the expansion here is valid for x on 3, absolute value of x on 3 less than 1. And when we solve that absolute value equation, we are going to have x on 3 is greater than negative 1 less than 1, okay, and therefore negative 3 is less than x less than 3. So that's the one for which it is valid, and our key here is going to be b. Question 32. We have the value 1 plus 1 over 3 plus 1 over 9 plus 1 over 27 plus that is, this is sum of an infinite this is an infinite series, right? Or the sum of an infinite sequence. So we have 1 on 3 plus 1 plus 1 on 3 plus 1 on 9 plus and so on. The first term is 1, the common ratio is 1 on 3. Sum to infinity is 1 over a minus r, so 1 over 1 minus 1 on 3. So what does that give us? So that's going to give us 3 on 2. That's the sum to infinity they're asking for there. Question 33. The limit as x tends to infinity of this expression is, since we have fractions, there's a numerator as a denominator, and we are looking at the limit at infinity, we will just consider the most important term for numerator, because as x tends to infinity, 4x squared minus 1. When you subtract 1 from infinity, it will not change anything now. So 4x squared minus 1 is approximately just 4x squared. And 4x squared will just be what we consider the most important term for the numerator. For the denominator, the same thing. 2x squared plus 1 as x tends to infinity, will have 2 times infinity plus 1. Plus 1 will not really change anything, right? So it's just approximately 2x squared. So we now cancel the divide. You have 4x squared divided by 2x squared, that's going to give us 2. So the limit of 2 as x tends to infinity is just 2. So we have to shine your eyes. Shine it well. Otherwise the GCE will shine it for somebody. You understand? If you enjoy what I said, you can leave a comment below, an emoji, smile, laughter. Question 34. Why solving? Please don't kill yourself. Oh, don't kill yourself. Be solving and smiling. Solve, relax. You can solve and eat something, drink tea, eat gari, whatever. Don't be saying that this teacher is saying funny things. The book is not about twisting your face and having wrinkles. No, you are not going to kill yourself because of this. Yeah, it's just good to have some good thing doing that. Don't kill yourself, please. Question 34. You have the integral of from 1 to 4 of x plus 3, all that on x. So here we can just simplify this fraction first. We'll have x divided by x is 1, and 3 over x. So we're going to have 1 plus 3 over x, and we integrate them separately. Okay, so we do that integration separately. We're going to have all right, I think the key is B. Yep. So this is what I'm talking about. X plus 3 on x is equal to 1 plus 3 on x. So we integrate them separately. Integral from 1 to 4 of 1 is 3. And for 3 on x, integral from 1 to 4 is 3 ln 4 minus 3 ln 1, but 3 ln 1 is 0. So it's just 3 ln 4. Okay? So we are going to have 3 plus 3 ln 4. Question 35, which is the last question for the pure math section before the 15 statistics questions. What is the determinant of this matrix? You can use any of the methods you want to use. Cramer's rule for determinants, the standard notation, the matrix method, whatever. So when you do any of them, your result is going to be negative 18. Okay? So this is what I have here. You can use any of these methods, and you're going to have negative 18. So please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, to leave your likes, your comments, and to share. If there's anything that you think you don't understand, you can always leave a comment below. Okay, you know how to get to this video, you know how to get to the solutions and so on. So now let's move to the statistics section with 15 questions where we'll end. The mean of scores of 10 students in a physics evaluation is 54, and the mean of scores of 40 different students in a mathematics evaluation is 60. The combined mean of the scores of the two subjects is every year the same thing, every year the same thing, every year the same thing, every year the same thing. So this is not a new thing, right? How do we get the combined mean? Combined mean is equal to the combined total divided by total number of scores for the two. Okay, so to get the sum, first of all need the sum for the first part. I think the answer here was 58.8. okay, yeah. So this is how we get the total. So for the 10 students in the physics that they have 54, the total scores was 10 times 54, which is 540. And then for the mathematics, we have 40 students and we had 60, so 40 times 60 is 2,400. So the combined mean will be equal to the total sum, all that on the total number of students. That's going to give us 540 plus 2,400, all that on 50, and that's going to give us 58.8. Every year the same thing. The same thing, question 7. If two events A and B are independent, then the product of their probabilities is equal to the AND probability. That is it now. This is it. This one, you don't even need to solve anything. So for two independent events, the probability of A intersection B is the same as probability of A times probability of B. Key here is D. Question 38. Consider the data below. The upper quartile of the data is... How many data points are here first of all? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 data points. 11 data points. If you have 11 data points, it means that the median is going to be at what position? The sixth, right? And the upper quartile is the same as the 75th percentile. So let's see how we are going to get that. So we first of all arrange these data points in ascending or descending order. Since you're talking about you're talking about the 75th percentile, so arrange in ascending order. Okay. So since there are 11 of them, the third quartile will occur at n plus 1 on 4 times 3. That is 3 quarters. The 3 quarters n plus 1, right? And that score is going to be the 9 score. So 9 plus 1 is 10. So I'm sorry, you have 11 scores. 11 plus 1 is 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3 times 3. have a pause. So the value, the ninth position corresponds to the score 19. A random variable x is such that it follows a binomial with values 33 and 0.4. Find var 2x minus 1. So this is a binomial. To find the variance of 2x minus 1, first of all, we need the variance of this one. How do we get the variance of a binomial? The variance is given by npq, right? Where q is 1 minus p. So that's going to give us 33 times 0.4 times 0.6. That's the variance. And according to the properties of variance, var ax plus b is the same as a squared var x. So we're going to have 2 squared, in this our case, times this variance that we have. Okay? Since you have 2x minus 1, we consider just this 2, square it, and multiply by the variance 7.92. So our key here is C. Question 40. The number of calls received by a certain police station on a certain day is a random variable with a Poisson distribution, having a mean of 5 calls per hour. The probability that the police station will receive 10 calls per hour is... So for the probability that they will receive 10 calls per hour, let's see what we have here. Okay, 10 calls per hour. So for 10 calls per hour, let's see the working. First of all, what's lambda here? Our lambda is equal to 5, right? Because the mean is 5. So the probability mass function has a Poisson distribution. The formula is given by e is the negative lambda. So e is the negative 5 times lambda to the power k. So 5 to the power 10. All that on k factorial. Okay. So our key is e is the negative 5. 5 to the power 10 on 10 factorial. So the key here is a. Alright, these guys have to do some adjustments. So the key here is actually a. Okay, I'll pass the information. The key here is a. Take note. So question 41. A continuous random variable x has a probability density function defined by that and 0 elsewhere or otherwise. The value of the constant k is, for a probability density function, the integral from the lowest value from negative infinity to positive infinity should be equal to 1. But since all the other points are 0, it's only defined from negative 3 to 3. Then it means we are going to have the following. The integral from negative infinity to infinity of the f of x dx equals 1. So from negative 3 to 3, because all the other points outside negative and 3 are 0, of k into x plus 3 equals that. So we only need to integrate. And when we do this integral and simplify, we are going to have 18k. So 18k is equal to 1, implying that k is equal to 1 over 18. K is equal to 1 over 18. So our key here for this question is A. Question 41 is A. Question 42. A random variable x is normally distributed with a mean of 23 and variance of 9. What's the probability of x greater than 20? Here they just want us to find the standard score, right? Yeah, the standard score, because you can see 5 of negative 1, 5 of 1, 5 of negative 1, and 3, and so on. So you just need to standardize the score, okay? So to standardize the score, the key here is actually A. We will just have z is equal to x minus mu on the standard variation. And how do we get the standard variation here? Let's say variance is 9 rad, and you know the standard variation, standard deviation is equal to the square root of variance. So the square root of that 9 here should be equal to 3. So we have 20 minus 23 on 3. That's going to give us negative 1. So this gives us phi of negative 1. Okay, of the normal score negative 1. Question 43, we are almost rounding up. A random sample of size 25 is drawn from a population with a mean, mu, and variance of 100. If the sample mean is 765, then the 95th percent confidence interval for the population mean is, so in that mean that's going to be equal to the mean of the sample, the same as the mean of the population, right? Okay, so that's going to be 765 plus or minus the standard deviation. And how do you get the standard deviation? That's where we have to come in now. Key here was actually B. So to get the standard deviation is given by sigma on root n. Okay, what's the sigma now? the standard deviation of the population, right? So the standard deviation of the population is the square root of the variance of the population, which is 10. So the standard deviation of the population is 10. All that on the square root of the sample that was drawn, the sample of 25, all that on root 25. So you have 10 on root 25, which is 2. Okay, that's the standard error. So from here now we can get the margin of error. To get the margin of error from the standard error, what we do is, since we are at the 95th percentile, the margin of error will be equal to 1.96 from your standard tables times this 2, and that gives us 3.92. So therefore means our result is 765 plus or minus 3.92. Okay, some people prefer to do this directly. They'll just say sigma on root n times the standard sometimes times the z value at the 95th percentile, which is 1.96 always. Okay, so you're working at 6%, 95%, you know the standard value. You're working at 90%, you know the standard value. 99%, you know all those tables are in your formula booklet, so you just have to copy them and use. Question 44. The data for 10 pairs of values of x and y are as follows. Summation x is 30, summation y is 20, summation xy is 90. What is the covariance of xy? Since you have been given the summations, it will be good for us to use the formula that says that summation xy minus summation x summation y on n. Okay, this is it. Summation xy minus summation x summation y on n, all that on n. So summation xy is 90, summation x is 30, summation y is 20, all that on the sample, which is 10, and all that on 10. So when simplify all of this, the result is 3. So our covariance is 3. Question 45. The geometric mean of 70, 75, 80, 85, 90 is? For the geometric mean, you just find the nth root of the product of the nth numbers. So 70 times 75 times 80 times 85 times 90 are 5 of this course, right? So the 5th root of the of this product that we are going to have is going to give us the geometric mean. I think that was 79 point something. Okay, yep. That gives us, this is the number that we have. The geometric mean will be equal to the 5th root of this number, which is 79.69. Question 46. Two events A and B are such that probability of A is 1/4, probability of B is 2 feet. Probability of A intersection B is 1 feet. Find the probability of B given A. Yeah, I love this question so much. Probability of B given A, the answer was 4 on 15. So probability of B given A is the same as probability of B intersection A prime. All this on probability of A prime. You agree with me, right? Good. But from here now, how do you get the probability of B given A prime? Or let's say B intersection A prime. So this is going to be the intersection outside A intersection B. So outside A intersection B is this pink region that you see. And we can get the probability of this by saying probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. So we can replace this by probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. And then probability of A prime is the same as 1 over minus probability of A, right? So when you simplify all of these crazy things here, the result will be 1/4. We are focused on the tips and the solutions, okay? We know you can do most of these ones, so there will be no need for us to be taking much of your time, because most of you are always crying of data. The video is lengthy, it's finishing data, so you're trying to make it as short as possible. You just look at the main highlights, and then you look at the points. 47. A true null hypothesis is rejected when it should have been accepted at the 2% level of significance. What is this? Whenever you reject a null hypothesis which was supposed to be accepted, it's a type 1 error. Okay, so this was type 1 error. So rejecting a true null hypothesis is a type 1 error. A type 1 error or false positive occurs if an investigator rejects a null hypothesis that's actually true in the population. Type 2 is false negative. Occurs if the investigator fails to reject it, when the person fails to reject it. And one of these two is known as false alarm. Please, in the comment section below, tell us which one is false alarm, whether it's type 1 or type 2. Let's know if you're following the video and you're active. Which of the errors is false alarm? type 1 error or type 2 error? Which one is known as false alarm? That's question 47. Now question 38. A discrete random variable x has the following probability density distribution. You have x 0, 1, 2 and that. So find the expression of 2x plus 5. First of all, what's the mean of this one? The mean here is 0 times 1 over 8 plus 1 times 6 over 8 plus 2 times 1 over 8. So the mean or expectation is 1. So the expectation of 2x plus 5 will just be equal to 2 times 1 plus 5, which is 7. Question 49. Two independent variables x and y are such that var x equals 15 on 2, var y equals 4. Find var 2x minus y.
No, not the right number.
Find var 2x minus y. So let's see what the key was in this question. Okay, it was 34. So to find the variance of this, so var x minus by is the same as a squared var x plus b squared var y. Okay. So from here, our a is 2 and our b is 1. Okay, so that's just going to give us our a is 2 and our b is 1. So we'll have 2 squared var x 15 on 2. So 2 squared var x 15 on 2 plus 1 squared var y is just 4. So this gives us 2 squared is 4 on 2. 2 times 15, 30 plus 4, 34. So the key is C and the result is 34. Last but not the least question, have you subscribed to this channel? Please, for the last question, I'm not going to give the answer. You leave the answer in the comment sections as well. 4 pairs of rankings summation such that summation z squared equals 2. The Spearman correlation of rank correlation is, if you cannot see the answer, you can always go to the website and go to this page and you see the results there. Thank you so much for watching. One of these is the correct answer. Okay, the answer is 4 and 5. So go to the website and then you can check the working there and another thing. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and do the assignments that has been given in this video. Do the assignment. I want to see at least 100 comments, if it's possible, more than 100 comments in the next less than 1 month, so that we try to revise as many papers as possible before your mock comes up or the GCE. God bless you as pray for your studies. Mashallah. Inshallah. Bye bye.